I think the governors should come in and see, because then they get a good idea that the courses are very worthwhile and that we are in fact learning.
It lets them know exactly what's going on in the classroom and the progress of the learning, the quality of the learning.
I think it's a good idea for them to come and see that if the course is actually working, that the students are actually getting a lot from it.
They will check and they want to improve it. So it's really a great step for the improvement.
For us, the journey started here 18 months ago now, and since then we have moved into developing governor learning walks at the college and involved a significant proportion of the governing body.
The whole experience has proved invaluable to me as a relatively new governor. It's very easy when you're detached, you're outside the college or you're coming in just for a governor's meeting, to look at the figures, to look at the statistics, to review bar charts and graphs and look at the finances, but to actually get into the classroom situation has been tremendous.
We've had one series of learning walks and then we developed our second set of learning walks, intended to be themed, and we linked particularly two of those things to our strategic plan. One of them was to look at sustainable social value in action in the classroom. The other one was to look at embedding English and maths. We've been going in with a college manager and I've found that really helpful because of the discussion that takes place afterwards.
Yeah.
We don't ask governors to formally complete a form on the learning walk. If they wish, they can for their own benefit.
We did get feedback and I found that very helpful too, because it's only when we combine all of that together and come back and collate all the material that various governors would have from their respective walks that we can actually make a positive contribution to this discussion as to where we go next.
Another method that we've used in the last 12 months to engage with learners more directly, and that's what we've simply branded as Meet the Governors. And at different times during the week, on different days, at different sessions, literally 2 or 3 governors just sat in a cafe.
I like the idea of having a table in the canteen because that reinforces what we were saying earlier about accountability. I can sit on a table and then they can come to me and give the important nuggets of information that they want to pass on, which otherwise they might be afraid of doing.
We set up a learner voice working group from the governing body, and our learner governors and one of our co-opted governors were part of that group. And as a result of that piece of work, we pulled together everything we did around learner voice. So it's the first time we had a comprehensive learner voice report. Also part of that group, we embellished our current learner forums, because our learner forums were very poorly attended. So what we did with our learner walk was to go around and introduce ourselves to every single class that's operating that session and say, we're in the cyber cafe, at a table, come and talk to us. We're about to repeat that in June, and then that'll become a termless process moving on. And then as a full governing body, we've got to work out how we're going to embed learning walks more substantially. I think linking to the strategic plan or particular item.
Learning walks and learner voice is it improving quality? I think it does, and I think we have hard information and evidence here of what's going on in the college.
We can collect as much data as we like, but what is it that's contributing to the high scores and the low scores? What actually is making good quality and poor quality? So it isn't just a matter of collecting the data, it's also taking it to the next stage as well.
This is our opportunity, isn't it, to really ask those questions. We can dig within our own data and know, and that's where we can help each other perhaps to make a difference. Where you can't, when you look at the whole nation, that just tells you where you rank really, doesn't it? But not why.
The learning walk certainly helps us as governors see what's going on in the classroom, and it enables us to talk to teachers and talk to learners, and that's really, and engage with learners. Which is really good stuff. It's one of the few opportunities that we get.
This was my first ever learning walk, being a very new governor. And it was an interesting experience, not having had a lot of exposure to this level and this kind of education. The level of choice in activity, but the tutor was always available. to respond to any queries.
We were able to speak quite freely with both the learners and the tutors, and I have to say we got very, very positive feedback from the students we spoke to. It was just a happy gathering where they were all very serious about their subject, all learning something, all interacting with both the teacher and obviously getting involved with the smartboard. Just very friendly, happy classes. The students were certainly very comfortable with their teachers, and the teachers doing a fantastic job.
Every single class, the learners were very keen to talk to us. The interactive whiteboards we used in each class we went into, they were using Moodle, and learners were recapping on previous work, plus they were also working on individual tasks, plus some were working on tests.
One thing that came across to me was the confidence of the students in one of the classes. You could tell they were very comfortable being there.
Very happy to talk about how their experience here has helped them be more confident in their everyday life and looking for work and working with their families and things. From a governor point of view, especially from a different provider, it's useful to see the similarities, the commonalities, but also the difference in approach and how well Moodle's been well used for individual tasks. So I was quite impressed with that.
The maths and ICT session, as I said, was pre-entry, and it was actually for learners with learning difficulties.
They used the smartboard for various maths games, counting games and things to aid interaction.
You can go into a lesson with learners with learning difficulties and it can actually quite severely disrupt a lesson, because they will immediately often get up and say hello, and they want to come and talk, what's your name, and I feel I'm disrupting the thing. And I can be, actually. So it's sort of protocols, I think, that I need to think about for visiting those sort of lessons.
Respecting them so that we didn't overstay our welcome. 10 minutes, then out again. I think that is the criteria that you've got to keep there, because it's so easy to overrun, and that then you start eating into their learning and you can be a distraction to them.
The group I was talking to, it was interesting that none of them spoke English at home, even though their children speak English at school. None of them spoke English at home. For them, part of the importance of coming here was actually because it made them speak English. And that was clearly also one of the important things, was actually making friends and getting to know other people outside their immediate communities.
We went to jewellery making, which is craft session. They're all learning intricate skills. They all need the facilities there because there's a certain amount of heavy equipment that's required.
They have mixed ability, whereby the new people can talk to the old people in terms of experience, that is.
There's a website where they put their work on, so they're using the internet community to display their work.
Were excellent testimonials as to why learning walks are a valuable thing. We're able to talk to lots of people very quickly and move on.
I think the governors were really impressed by the work. They were very, very keen to look at everybody's work.
I think they are well pleased that the class is well attended, as well as that the students are actually getting a lot from it.
I think it's a good thing because the teachers, they go well out of their way to help students, and I don't think they get enough recognition for the job they actually do.
There are people that, take an interest in what we do in the classes and that show real concern.
Well, the feedback I've had is that both tutors and learners really appreciate the fact that there are what they see as very significant people within the college actually showing the interest to come along and find out more about what's going on in the classroom. And you do have an impact on supporting both staff and learners through their learning process and their journey.